Out here at Landsberg Dam in the Maple Valley, the process of creating Seattle's legendary drinking water begins. But that is not the only thing taking place here. In a unique partnership with Seattle City Light and Seattle Public Utilities, miles of new habitat have recently been opened up to endangered salmon. Landsberg Dam used to be a complete barrier to all species of fish, but then a few years ago, a unique piece of equipment was built, something they call an Archimedes screw.
We put this facility together in 2003 so that we could move certain species above the dam, Chinook and trout, but not sockeye. So the whole role of this facility is to segregate those populations, remove male and female sockeye out of this facility and release them either in the lower river or take them to our hatchery.
There's a good reason the city doesn't want sockeye spawning above the Landsberg Dam, the city of Seattle's primary water source.
We might see passing above the dam this year a couple hundred Chinook and maybe a couple hundred of the coho, but in a really robust sockeye year, we could have thousands of sockeye going above the dam.
And thousands of fish carcasses are not good for water quality. So these workers sort these fish by hand.
We basically crowd fish to a sorting table, bring them up to the sorting table with a pesculator, which is a device that's an Archimedes type screw device, brings water and fish up to our sorting table. We'll separate the species there. We move sockeye into some holding ponds, and then we'll take Chinook and coho and we'll put them into large totes with water in them. And there we start doing some of our biological sampling. We'll take measurements of their length. We'll go ahead and identify them by species and their sex. And we take tissue samples from their dorsal fin. Those samples are creating a large database of genetic information for analysis.
And then the Chinook, coho, and trout get released into pristine streams that haven't had salmon in them for better than a century. City Light and Seattle Public Utilities are also working hard to save endangered salmon in another nearby stream, the South Fork of the Tolt River. It is so remote here, the only way the utility could do that was by helicopter. In 2005, flight after flight placed large wood piles to create artificial log jams into the Tolt River to better the salmon habitat there. Scott Powell is an environmental analyst with Seattle City Light.
The area was historically Weyerhaeuser Company's Snoqualmie tree farm, and so it was logged heavily over a period of decades. So that's one effect on the river. Then, since the dam has been in place, that does affect the flow of gravel from the headwaters of the stream down through the river.
Seattle City Light created these artificial log jams to replace the wood that was lost over the decades and to get more gravel retention. Liz Abloh is a fish biologist.
What we're hoping, by increasing the amount of wood, you increase the gravel retention and you have more opportunities for these fish to choose other locations to spawn.
Seattle City Light began using low-elevation aerial photography to track stream changes after the work was done in 2005. Things did begin to change. Then there was the flood in the spring of 2007.
What was really an exciting moment was March 2007. We had a peak flow event that exceeded what we anticipated. We reached 3,000 cubic feet per second.
Which was double the amount of water flow the log jams were designed for. The utility originally worried their work might be flushed all the way to the Puget Sound, but it wasn't. And big beneficial changes for salmon began. The river started flowing in unique ways.
The whole river avulsed into this historical channel, and but what that did was, in the interim, in those decades, you had a lot of wood accumulate, trees falling over, existing trees growing up, and so when the river goes back through there, it forms a much more dynamic environment. So you have everything from the quiet backwater pools for rearing. You have fresh gravel being sorted out.
Basically, you get great salmon spawning and rearing areas.
So in 2005, you can see here that this side of the main channel, there's no access to a side channel. It's completely just looks like bank area. And in 2007, after the flood event, you can see that there's quite an open channel, substantially larger. Here it's two examples, 2006, it's just a smaller, looks more like a creek. And then in 2007, after the flow event, you can see that they're starting a gravel formation. It's a much larger channel, probably as much as 30 feet wide.
We've actually seen a lot more salmon spawning in this area than we had in that channel that the river was in before.
Further north of this big new stream, Seattle City Light Crews found successful habitat was also being created. The log jams are working.
We've found that the habitat areas that we've opened up are being used quite heavily by the juvenile salmon. We found out some things about where the logs will stay in place and where they won't. We found out some things about how quickly the channels will respond to the alterations that we're making. So all in all, it's been quite successful, and we're looking at how we might do more of that in the future.
On the Tolt River, I'm Kelly Gunther for Seattle City Light.